Hi, I'm Lena Paul. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/LenaIsAPeach. On Instagram, Lena Paul XO. It's not Lena Paul XO official, it is Lena Paul XO. You might have to scroll down a couple to get there. Be sure to follow me on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/LenaIsAPeach. It's less than $5, so you really should. Or fancentro.com/Lena Paul for my Snapchat. Oh, and follow me on my public Snap, Lena Paul XO, exact same as my Instagram.
Tell us about Sleepless Nights.
Sleepless Nights is a very personal project to me. I wrote Sleepless Nights the weekend that I filed for divorce. I wrote it all in like one sitting. And it was initially the pitch that I sent to Digital Playground to sort of get my foot in the door. I said, hey, this is the story that I wanted to make. So I wrote up sort of a spec for it. And they said, wow, this is really cool, but this is really ambitious. And they gave me some smaller projects first, and then they got progressively bigger. And then finally they said, okay, we'll let you do what you want. And it was then that I sat down and wrote the script during like one of the most tumultuous times in my life. And I find that that's some of like the best creative times that you can have is when your life is in turmoil. There's a certain level of like, when I'm so stressed and I'm so under the gun, I don't really have time to be like pretentious or fake. So what I wrote was raw. I had a little bit of a vulnerability hangover after I finished. I was finalized as the lead for it. I was like, oh shit, it's one thing to write a story. It's a completely different thing to be the person that stands up there and says the words. And it was my most challenging project. I was talking to Francois, who directs for Babes and Digital and a few of the other same companies that I work with, and he just finished his own first writer-director project, and we both commiserated on how, like, you would think as a director that you would write something that would be, like, simple for you to shoot, like easy peasy, make yourself look good, blah, blah, blah. No, I am my worst writer. I handed out some of the most complicated things that I ever did during that shoot, but we were really proud of it by the time we were done.
Did you write the script at nighttime? Did you write it during the day?
I wrote it morning, noon, and night. I don't think that I got up from my computer for about 24 hours, it felt like. It was one of those things that I just wrote it whenever I had, I don't know, like it just came out of me. It was one of those things that like I couldn't get up until I like exorcised this thing from me.
You were talking about pretentious and stuff. Was that just trying to be too grandiose? Is that the right way to say that?
Grandiose?
Grandiose.
Yeah, I don't think that, I'm a dramatic woman. If I'm entirely honest, I'm a dramatic person. Everything is intense for me. It's lent itself well to me being a good performer, but I think at times it can be my enemy as a writer. And so I look at something and then I just start taking the knife to it. I'm like, okay, how much can I cut here? I think like as a creative, anytime that you're giving somebody art that they're viewing and looking at, reading, whatever, you have a sacred contract not to waste their fucking time. Like, to me, if I can say it in fewer words, I really try to embody that. So I wrote the script and it was probably about 50 pages by the time I was done, and I think I cut at least 10, I think closer to 15 pages by the end of it.
From the original concept to the finished movie, how much did you actually get then in the movie? When you wrote the thing versus sometimes budgets cut things out.
Oh, I got everything I wanted in the movie. I got every single thing, whether it killed me or not. And everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I still just slaved. And I'm so grateful to the people that I work with that they worked on it with me. It was a high pressure set. At one point, the day that you were there, the party, like, that is a complicated thing. And then I had this horrible set designer. I hired this set designer from Mainstream who'd done all these music videos for like Calvin Harris and all of these other ones, and like he completely fucked me. And so I wound up, not only being writer, director, producer, line producer, accountant, occasionally makeup artist, costuming, all of that. I also would have to go and like take breaks from, say, cleaning out for anal to go build a set because he just dropped the ball. So most of the sets that you see in the movie, I had a huge hand in designing those. And I'm so grateful to my DP and my camera team, Alex Ladd, Joel Sinclair, and Barrett Blade, who just pitched in and got the work done and, didn't strangle me for all of these trick shots and these complicated setups that we wound up doing.
Lena Paul, the director. How difficult is it directing Lena Paul, the performer?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I am my own worst talent. I am the worst talent. It is so hard for me to be able to switch spaces. Like, I am ADHD. I have been since I was a child. To switch gears and to kind of like ping back and forth between all of these tasks, like having that type of a multi-track mind can be helpful, but then to be in the moment, like I want to be in the moment as a performer, to me, being a good performer is everything in the room sort of goes black, like it vignettes around my partner, and I zero in on them, and like I never try to like look anywhere but them for that time being. Like I'm trying to hold this space between us, and it was so hard to do that in the movie itself.
Was there a favorite scene you shot, a favorite thing, something sticks out in your mind?
I would say that my favorite scene that we did is episode number 3, in which Abigail Mack, who plays a therapist who never takes her own advice, has this transformative moment in which she goes to this underground club, kind of a Eyes Wide Shut meets David Lynch dream sequence, and you see her kind of emerge from this repressed woman into this empowered creature as she joins the performers on stage, and we have this foursome. I'm one of the performers on the stage that pulls her up, and as far as the way that I visualized it in my head to the way that it went onto the screen, that was probably the closest episode out of all 4 to how I would actually want it to be. It happened better even than what I visualized.
Who else is in the cast? You mentioned Abigail, you.
So the cast included Abigail Mack, Demi Sutra, Alex Jones, Cody Steele, Xander Corvus, and Sterling Cooper. It was kind of initially the person that I had visualized for the role was Angela White or Ivy LaBelle. I wanted a woman, but not a MILF, if that made sense, to play the character. But then with financing and the scale of what I wanted, to tell you the truth, I made no money on the movie. Every dime that I was paid as a director and a talent, I reinvested back into props and stage and lighting and extras and all of that stuff. For me, it was about the passion. It was a passion project. But yeah, so it's a small cast. It's weird because I'm in 3 of the 4 episodes. If I did have hindsight, I would have gone back and only been in 2 episodes. Like, I think I wanted 1 more episode in which I was completely unrelated.
Did you specifically hire like Alex and Barrett and all that, or did they just brought in?
So I built my team from scratch. I know that a lot of these performer directors, it's kind of like they get training wheels, which is amazing. You should have training wheels, frankly. everything that I did, I learned the hard way. I built my team. I did all of my own production management. I did all of it, which meant a lot of errors in the early stages. You know, there's the performer privilege of, you know, not having to PA, not having to pay your dues, you know, just getting everything handed to you. But that comes with the other side, which is, you know, it's all on you and the mistakes that you make if it's all your own baby is kind of a thing. So I lucked out finding Alex, Joel, and Barrett. I went through a couple of camera people before that, and I'm really pleased with the team that I have now.